Mbuyu was a small village in Kenya. The people there were farmers. They grew maize, beans, and millet. Life was simple. Every day was the same. Wake up, work in the fields, eat and sleep. But one morning, something strange happened. Next to the village well, people found silver boxes. The boxes had no names on them, only a small green logo, a leaf inside a circle. Nobody knew who brought them. Children ran to look. Then the adults came. One by one, they opened the boxes. Inside were metal tins. Inside the tins were seeds, clean new seeds in small bags. There was also a paper in English. Abasi, a young man who could read it out loud. Plant after the rains. Do not mix with other seeds. Use 1 tin per family, a gift. No payment needed. Grow well. People were surprised. Mama Sarah. The village elder said, "This is strange. We should not use them yet." But others were happy. Their own seeds were old and weak that year. Many decided to plant the new seeds. When the rains came, they planted. Weeks passed. Then something amazing happened. The maize grew taller than ever before. Tomatoes were big and red. Even the beans looked different, stronger and faster growing. Everyone was shocked. They had never seen crops like this. Old Otieno, the village's best farmer, said, "I have never seen plants grow like this." People were happy. There was more food than ever. They had enough to eat, trade and save. Still, no one knew who gave the seeds. Some said the government, others said a rich person. No logo, no name. It's very strange, Mama Sarah said, but no one came. No one asked for money. The seeds just worked. Far away, in a city office in Nairobi, a folder sat in a drawer. It was labeled, Project Green Spark Phase 2. Inside were reports about villages. One was about Mbuyu. It showed maps, photos, and growth charts. At the bottom in small print it said, Funding, BG Trust Initiative. In Mbuyu, the people kept planting. Next season, more boxes came. This time they were green. The same logo was on them. The paper said, Your success is our success. Thank you for growing with us. Some people were happy. Others felt worried. Why do they not tell us who they are? Mama Sarah asked. Abasi said, Maybe they want to help in secret. One day a stranger came to the village. He was tall, with kind eyes. He said his name was Daniel. He said he was a researcher. He asked questions about the seeds and the crops. He took pictures. He wrote in a notebook. Then after 3 days he left. Mama Sarah did not trust him. He watches more than he talks, she said. People like that carry secrets. Still, life in the village got better. The children were healthier. No one was hungry. Even the small clinic had fewer sick people. But the mystery remained. Far away in the United States, a quiet meeting was taking place. In a big building, some people looked at maps and photos on a screen. Inside were reports about villages. One was about Mbuyu. It showed maps, photos, and growth charts. At the bottom in small print it said, Funding, BG Trust Initiative. In Mbuyu, the people kept planting. Next season, more boxes came. This time they were green. The same logo was on them. The paper said, Your success is our success. Thank you for growing with us. Some people were happy. Others felt worried. Why do they not tell us who they are? Mama Sarah asked. Abasi said, Maybe they want to help in secret. One day a stranger came to the village. He was tall, with kind eyes. He said his name was Daniel. He said he was a researcher. He asked questions about the seeds and the crops. He took pictures. He wrote in a notebook. Then after 3 days he left. Mama Sarah did not trust him. He watches more than he talks, she said. People like that carry secrets. Still, life in the village got better. The children were healthier. No one was hungry. Even the small clinic had fewer sick people. But the mystery remained. Far away in the United States, a quiet meeting was taking place. In a big building, some people looked at maps and photos on a screen. One woman said, This village has the best results. The new seeds worked. No one resisted. Another person asked, Do they know who gave them the seeds? No, she answered. They think it's a gift. Then a man in the back spoke. His voice was soft. Good. Let the seeds speak for us. It was Bill Gates, the 3rd year. Something changed. No new boxes came. People were worried. What if they stopped helping us? Utieno asked, what if it was a test? Someone said, what do we do now? Abasi went to check one of the old tins. At the bottom, hidden under the seed bag, he found a small card. It had a website and a special code. He traveled to the nearby town to find a computer. He entered the code. A website opened. It said, welcome to the BG Rural Development Program. Your village is part of Phase 2. Thank you. Then in small letters, this program is supported by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Abasi stared at the screen. Bill Gates? He whispered. The man from Microsoft? He returned home and told Mama Sarah. At first, she did not believe him. Then she was quiet. So it was him all along? She asked. It looks like it, Abasi said. She nodded slowly. Even the richest man in the world wants to grow something, she said. But what is he really planting? Mbuyu village had changed. It had been 2 years since the strange seed tins first appeared. In that time, life in the village had improved. People had more food, children were healthier. The fields looked green and full. No one was hungry anymore. But something felt different. Mama Sarah, the village elder, said it best one morning. The land is giving more than before, but it doesn't feel like ours. After Abasi found the website link in the old seed tin, he told everyone that the seeds came from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Most villagers didn't know who Bill Gates was. He's a rich man from America, Abasi explained. He made computer programs. Now he gives money to help people. Some nodded. Others were unsure. Why help us? Otieno asked. We've never seen him. He doesn't know our names. Abasi shrugged. Maybe he wants to see if his seeds work in places like ours. Soon, people from other villages began visiting Mbuyu. They heard about the harvests, how much food there was, how strong the plants were. They wanted to see with their own eyes. Some asked for seeds, but Mbuyu had only what had been sent. There were no new tins, only the second batch from last year. And now the soil was changing. The new seeds grew fast, but some of the old crops, traditional millet and beans, didn't grow well near them. But in Mbuyu, most of the crops still grew. The new seeds were made to survive without much water. It was a miracle to some, a warning to others. They made these seeds strong, said Fiona, but also dependent. What do you mean? Asked Otieno. Fiona pointed to the drying land. If we can't use our old seeds anymore, and they stop sending new ones, what happens to us? Abasi tried to grow some old millet in a corner of the field. It didn't grow well. The soil had changed. It wanted only the fast-growing seeds now. It's like the land has forgotten, he said. A few days later, a letter came by post. Very unusual. It was addressed simply, to the people of Mbuyu. Inside were tools, new farming tools, gloves and plastic greenhouses. There were also small machines powered by solar panels. They could test the soil. A paper note read, Phase 3 support for the success of your growth. Abasi looked around. This is more than just seeds. He said, it's a plan. Far away in a city boardroom, a man gave a presentation. Mbuyu has passed the stress test, he said. 3 planting cycles. No rebellion, no major resistance. They adopted the program without branding. A woman asked, should we reveal our role? Another said, Gates wants to stay in the background. The first man smiled. Then we continue, quietly. In Mbuyu, things got more complicated. With better harvests came more interest. A foreign company offered to buy maize from the village at low prices. Some villagers wanted to sell. We have enough, Abasi said. Why not earn money now? Mama Sarah disagreed. If you sell the food and they stop sending seeds, what will we plant then? Then something happened that changed everything. The rains failed. Only a little water fell that year. Nearby villages struggled. But in Mbuyu, most of the crops still grew. The new seeds were made to survive without much water. It was a miracle to some, a warning to others. They made these seeds strong, said Fiona, but also dependent. What do you mean? Asked Otieno. Fiona pointed to the drying land. If we can't use our old seeds anymore, and they stop sending new ones, what happens to us? Abasi tried to grow some old millet in a corner of the field. It didn't grow well. The soil had changed. It wanted only the fast-growing seeds now. It's like the land has forgotten, he said. A few days later, a letter came by post. Very unusual. It was addressed simply, "To the people of Mbuyu." Inside was a printed letter. "We thank you for your continued participation. You are part of a global pilot project for sustainable farming. Your data is helping shape the future of agriculture. BG Rural Innovation Team." People gathered again under the baobab tree to discuss it. Otino was angry. "We are not a lab," he shouted. Fiona added, "They used our lives for testing." Abasi looked sad. "But we are alive. We have food. Is that not something?" That night, Mama Sarah wrote in her journal. She rarely did, but this time, she felt she had to. When gifts come quietly, they are not always gifts. When land grows things it doesn't recognize, it becomes confused. I don't know if this was help or a lesson, but I know we were never asked. The next week, another tin arrived. Only one this time. It was placed outside the school, on it a message. "Your final harvest. Thank you for being part of the change." The tin sat in silence outside the village school. It was just one tin, smaller than the others. Dark gray in color, no crate, no stack of supplies, just the tin. It had the familiar green leaf logo, but no instruction paper. Instead, taped to the lid was a letter. Folded once, clean white paper. Abasi found it early in the morning when he came to check on the water tanks. He picked it up, looked around, and quickly ran to Mama Sarah. She unfolded it slowly, hands shaking slightly. Everyone gathered under the baobab tree again. Fiona read it aloud. "To the people of Mbuyu, you have completed the final phase of this project. Your participation has helped shape the future of sustainable agriculture. We thank you for your care, your work, and your patience. This will be our last direct contact. May your land continue to grow strong." BG Rural Innovation Team. A long silence followed. Otieno stood up first. "And so that's it? They leave a tin and a thank you note?" Fiona looked at the paper again. "It says they're finished." Mama Sarah shook her head. "They were finished from the start, we just didn't know it." Inside the tin were seeds again, but this time they looked different. Lighter in color, smaller. The texture was softer, not dry and hard like before. Some villagers were afraid to touch them. "Maybe they're just another experiment," one woman said, but others, especially the younger farmers, wanted to plant. "This might be all we have now," Abasi said. That season, half of the village used the final seeds. The crops grew, but not the same. Maize was thinner, tomatoes were fewer. The special green grain didn't grow at all. People started mixing their own old seeds back into the soil. But the land was different now. The old millet barely sprouted. Beans turned yellow early. The soil had changed, just like Fiona had warned. A group of young men from a nearby village came to Mbuyu one day. They asked for help. Their crops had failed. They had heard about Mbuyu's special seeds. "We don't have them anymore," Abasi said. One of the young men pointed to the solar tool near the clinic. "But you have things we don't. Who gave them to you?" Abasi replied quietly. "Someone rich, someone far away." Meanwhile, in Nairobi, a report was being written. The title, Case Study, Behavioral Response in Agricultural. Adaptation in Remote Test Villages, Kenya Pilot. Inside were photos of Mbuyu from satellites. Back in Mbuyu, things were changing fast. People no longer gathered around the baobab tree to talk. Instead, they whispered in small groups. Some blamed outsiders, some blamed each other. "Why did we trust the tins?" one farmer asked. "They helped us survive," another answered. "But they also changed us," said Fiona. The clinic was still open, but now lacked supplies. The solar tools worked, but no one came to fix them when they broke. The tanks needed filters, but none had arrived. Everything had come quietly. Everything left the same way. One day, a child named Nduda asked Mama Sarah, "Will the seed man ever come back?" Mama Sarah smiled softly. "No, child, but his seeds are still here." "Were they good?" the child asked. Mama Sarah paused. "They were enough. But we must learn to grow our own again." Then came a letter, not from the BG team, but from a local agricultural officer. It said, We would like to invite leaders from Mbuyu to attend a regional farming conference. Your village was part of an important program. Now it is time to speak about it. Mama Sarah looked at the letter for a long time. Then she said, maybe it's time we tell our side. Abasi and Fiona traveled to the conference. There were people from other villages, scientists, NGO workers, even journalists. One man showed charts. This program was a success, he said. Abasi stood up. I lived it. It helped us, yes. But it didn't ask us. It changed us without speaking to us. That is not the right way. Fiona added, help should come with a name and a hand, not a test and a silence. The room was quiet. Then someone clapped, others followed. A woman from another village said, the same thing happened to us. Months passed. Mbuyu began to change again, slowly, but on its own terms. Farmers started saving seeds again. Children planted small gardens behind their homes. Fiona and others made a seed-sharing circle to trade and store what they had left. They no longer waited for boxes. They made their own. One evening, as the sun set, Abasi sat with Mama Sarah. He held the final tin in his hands. It feels like a piece of history, he said. It is, she replied, a reminder that even good things must be questioned. He nodded. I think we're ready now, he said, to grow something new. By ourselves. Mama Sarah smiled. That, she said, is the real harvest.